Hello, and welcome to week 36 here in this Stitch Circle Show Challenge. I'm the host for this challenge. It's a weekly challenge and it is going all this year 2025. Here below in the description box or under the little word more, you will find all the infos for this challenge. There is a link for a playlist where you can find week 1. And there I will explain everything about what this challenge with Dogma Rules is about. There is a link for a Facebook group you can apply if you want to do the challenge. Don't apply if you don't want to do the challenge. The group is only for active members. And last, there is a link for sewing a cover together if you want to have a book here like I'm having. It isn't a must. You can do the challenge and do with your pieces whatever you like. Put them in a board sketchbook, put them in a box, make a scroll, sew them onto a sheet, or you can do whatever you will. But I will promise you, when this year is done, you will have a great big book or box or whatever you will do with them, but 52 nice examples on how you can embroider after the Dogma Rules. And Dogma Rules is shortly just a way to get going. If you don't know what to do, set some sets of rules for yourself, and then it is easier to start. You can always afterwards break the rules because there isn't an embroidery police, and I ain't either playing police. So I don't think I would say much more than my name is Lisbeth. I'm Danish, so pardon my bumpy English, but I think you can see what I'm doing. So why not jump into it and see what I have found out of rules for this week 36. I have 2 signatures here in my book, and because I can slide them in it's like an envelope, you can say. So I will just remove the one signature who is that is full, and just be having the last signature here. Now this is where I left you last time with a lot of seed stitches. So I will find the next blank page, and now I am ready for have a place to glue my embroidery for this week in. This piece of fabric is difficult to see here on my background, so I have another piece of felt. I think I will see if I can keep inside instead and come closer here. There. Now you get a little story from my life. My uncle was an upholsterer, and when he died a couple of years ago, my cousin called me and said he had a lot of upholstery fabric that she didn't know what to do with. She was cleaning and tidying up the house, for the house was going on sale, and she knew I liked fabric, and she knew I do a lot of different things. She doesn't do anything. I don't think she even can hold a needle in her hand. And that is another story. I have a bunch of other 7 other cousins, and it is only 2 of them that are knitting. The rest of them aren't doing anything, and that is for me quite strange, but that was a sidebar. But I went through the house and I took all those different kinds. It was big rolls for of fabric, and many of them are quite heavy. So this is an upholstery fabric in pure wool. Here in Denmark we have a fabric, and I think it is known in the world. It is called in Danish kvadrat, and that means in English square. And they make the loveliest, nicest upholstery fabric and curtain fabrics. And this is a fabric from there. And I know you don't have such a fabric, but find a heavy piece of fabric in blue, turquoise, greenish, in that color family. And this is my fabric, and cut out a square you want to sew on. That was the first rule. A heavy piece of fabric, and in green, bluish, turquoise color. Yeah. The next thing is I want to sew only, yeah, I call them weaved circles, but in fact there isn't much weaving. You make 4 spokes and then you go around inside the spokes a couple of times, depending on how thick your yarn or thread is. And I have chosen to use some of my knitting yarns from the days when I was knitting a lot. I had a small business where I was designing accessories, and I bought yarns home from all places in the world. And this yarn here is from Iceland. It is an Icelandic yarn, and I think you can buy it many places. It is called Letlopi, and it is from the brand called Istex. And I don't expect either that you have these kinds of yarns, but find what you have in your stash in the same color family, as many colors as you can find, and use them. This is also pure wool, and this is pure wool. So for me, it's about wool this time, but you don't have it. Yours don't have to be wool and wool. And if you don't have a thick thread, then you perhaps can take a thinner thread and make it double or triple, or you must go more times around when we start sewing. But I have this here as I think I have 7 different colors, and that is what I have. So I will use that thread, and I don't think, yeah, we have to use this so called weaving rings, and I will show them to you in a little, and place them wherever you like on your square. So fill your little square here, or your bigger square, with rings, and make them small, big, whatever you like, and place them how close or far apart as you like. That is up to you. So let us get started. I won't be tracing a circle this time, because there would be a lot of circles here on my fabric, but if you want to do them inside a traced circle, you're welcome to do that. But I will start here in the middle and work my way around the one I'll make here in the middle. So I will just make 4, and I won't be knotting or anything here on the back. I don't think that is necessary, but I will make the 4 spokes. And my weaving is so I can see it, and that can be a little distracting, I think. But you probably won't have the same fabric, so it probably won't matter to you. And I have picked a needle with no point, because it is easy to stitch here into the wool. And for this I'm starting to do now. It is nice to have no point on your needle. So I will just come up here beside this one of the 4 spokes there, and then I would take my end of my needle and coincide. That was not so nice. There. I think I have to nurse it a little. And why on earth isn't it? There it is. And then again inside here, I can see I have made them quite small, the spokes. But next time I think I will make them a little bigger. And in here, and in here. And since this is such a chunky yarn, I will only do it in 2 rounds. So you can see it, you aren't weaving, because if you were weaving, you were going under, over, and I ain't doing that here, but it makes such a lovely little ring here. And then I will just go down here like that and end up my weaving, like not weaving, but end up my ring. And there you have the finest little ring. And I will just cut it off because I don't think it would be running anywhere. So there you can see the 4 spokes, and I've been around inside them 4 times. Not 4 times, 2 times. But depending on how thick your thread is and how big or small you want your circles, you can do what you want to do with that. But please don't start weaving or doing anything else but this, because later on here in this year there would be something about making circles where we weave them in the right way. So that is not the meaning here. It's the meaning to do it like this, but you could do it any size you want and place them wherever you like. I will find a new color and thread my needle, and we can sew another one. I brought you in a little closer, and I have decided I want my rings to be quite close. So I come up here and I go down there, and I come up here there, and then some of the end came up here. So away with that. There. And I go down again, so there. And then I make the 2 other spikes, like not spikes, spokes. There. There. So now I have 4 spokes. So I will just come up here, nearly under one of the spokes there, turn my needle around so I have the eye here, and go in the eye. There, turn it. It isn't the easiest thing here with this chunky woolly yarn. And why on earth is this stitch? It did the same as the last time, but I can fix it. That's not a problem, but I'm wondering why. in here, and again there, and there, and there. So now I've been 2 times round, and I will just go inside here and go down. So it isn't difficult, it is, I had just not made it easy for myself using these materials, but yeah, it is nice to be tested a little. So there is the next little one, and I think they look so nice, and I think the distance between them are also fine. So away with that, and I will grab another color and make another one, and then I think you got it. I really like this yarn. I don't like to wear it on my skin because it is scratchy, but it is a beautiful yarn, and I have been on the factory on Iceland where they made it, and because it's not solid, there are so many, you can see small bits and bobs of other things in it, so I think it is a beautiful yarn, but sadly I can't take it on my skin. But I think you have to be born on Iceland and be put in it as a baby, then you are used to it. So here is my new color here. There and there are the 4 spokes. It's a new word I just have learned. I didn't know that word until a couple of days ago. So here 4 spokes, and I will just come up here nearly under the first one here. There. Turn my needle and pull it through. Turn it 90 degrees and go under the next spoke. And the next spoke. And the last of the 4 spokes, and do another round in here. Yeah, and the second. It isn't much yarn I'm using for this. And close the ring here and go down. And you can always give it a little makeover. But doesn't they look nice? Oh, yummy, yummy. There, just cut that off. So I will continue and making some more, and then I can show you some steps during the way. But I think the stitch itself you can know how to do now. So now I have been through all the colors. I have these 7 different colors, so I started up a new one there. And if I should give you any advice, it is not to pull too much in your thread, because if you pull really tight in your thread, you will end up with a square instead of a circle. I think that's the only thing that is important here in this stitch. Yeah, but I will carry on and sew some more ones, and I came up here, so I will, when I start the circles, I think it is the best place not to come up there where you have had your last spoke, but go one back, then your thread won't be that tight if you pull too much, if you know what I mean. And here it's the first stitch there. And you can see if I pull too much, it would end up like a square. And that is not my intention here. And there, you can see it is nice and round here. And this again. There. Oops. And the last one here. Yeah, it's the last one here. But you can always nurse them a little. Yeah. Mine aren't. And you can see I pulled too much in that thread. So over that, cut that off. And you can see they aren't exactly the same size, and that I don't think doesn't matter. But I will fill most of the square, but I think I would make a centimeter or 1.5 centimeter without. But there's a lot of stitching here, and I can show you some steps during the way. Doesn't that look nice? So I'm on to the last stitch, so I will go around 2 times here, as I have done on all the others. And take care not to pull too much in my thread. So I will end up with a square and not a circle. I don't know if this stitch has a name. I have not been able to find it in any books or anywhere. And yeah, it should have a name, I think, but which one? So that would be all for my stitching here. And I can see it is fraying a little here, so I will just remove some of the fraying there. Of course, you can cut it with a scissors or a rotary cutter if you want it more neat than mine is here. But I think it is fine. It isn't going to run anywhere. There. I think that is fine. There's a little tip down here. But promise me, if you're doing this only to make 4 spikes and not start weaving or anything, just sew inside the 4 spikes. That is the rule here for this week. I will write the Dogma Rules in my book, and then I will glue it in, and then we will see how it looks. And I have all these boards here, and normally I save everything, but I can't be doing that. I can nearly be in my room by saving all these things, paper or fabric snippets, so yeah. So they will go in my bin. Not all the yarns, they will not go in my bin. I can probably use them for something else another time. So I will find my book. It is a little chunky, so it doesn't make it better for my book. It will get even chunkier. Yeah, but I like it. I know it's hard to see on this substrate here, but in a sec it will be on a white substrate, my book. But you can turn it and see which way you like it best before you glue it in your book. And I think I like it this way here. So I will just turn it over, and you can see I haven't put knots or secured my ends or anything. They are just hanging there, and I don't think they will run anywhere. There. And I will use double-sided tape here for my piece, my book, because I have something on both sides on my pages in my book. If you're one of those who have a book with so many pages, so you can have your piece on every second, eller on, yeah, you know what I mean. I have on both sides of the paper, but if you only have on one side of your paper, I will bring you a little up here. You can sew it in. It is impossible for me to sew in, because if I took this now and sewed it in, I would go through there, and I don't like that. So, oh, and here I hope I can get that. Yeah, it is so impossible, especially in this heavy fabric here. Oh, there it was. Yeah. And I will just, I think I have to stand up here to center it. There. Oh, and I forgot to take a picture before I glued it in my book, but I think I can do it. Oh, the glue is still there. I will do it out of camera and show it to you when it's sitting there. So this one here is finally in my book, and that was a really hard birth to get this paper of the glue, but at last I succeeded. So done and dusted with this week here, and it's a chunky piece, but I think this yarn and this fabric looks very nice together. And I think I'm not one who makes bags or purses or things for any use, but if you're a person who like to make useful things or things you can use, this could be nice to do on a bag or something. I think I have this fabric in a ochre and a similar one in off-white. Perhaps I can find some use for that in one of the other challenges, but you never know. But I hope you still are inspired here by looking at my weekly slow stitch circle show challenges, and I hope you learned some tips and tricks and are still hanging on, and I'm so looking forward to see your embroideries in the Facebook group and also on the 2 hashtags I also have written here below under the little word more. And oh, I think there was another thing I had forgot to say. Yes, sorry. I know I will also put the Dogma Rules here under the video, so you can eat them peacefully and quietly here instead of me just talking. Some people like to get it in through the eyes also, and not only in the ears. We all learn different. But Else I would say, please give my video a thumbs up and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. That would be very helpful of you and I would appreciate it a lot. Hit the notification bell if you want to get a notification, but else these videos for this challenge is coming up every Thursday, Danish time, 12 o'clock, probably another time at your place, but you have figured it out, I think. So I will just say, take care and be creative and be nice to each other in these strange times we are living in right now. Bye bye for now.